So this is going to be our last probability lesson, okay? And if you think about it, we really only have one more kind of area of probability to talk about, because so far we've talked about area in general. Okay, so that was like, what's the probability of flipping tails on a coin? And then we got a little more specific. We did exact probability. So that is, given a number of flips, what's the probability that I'm going to flip exactly 7 heads or exactly 7 tails or roll exactly a 3? But then we also have at least or at most probability, which is what this is going to be about. And if you think about it, at least and at most probability is something that, I mean, you might not calculate it all the time, but we kind of wonder about it a lot. Like, you know, okay, in order for me to pass this class, I need to score at least, you know, a 70 on the test. Well, we can look at the stats of your other tests and figure out, okay, well, what's the probability that that's going to happen? Or in order to win a game, I need to score at least 50 points. Okay, well, based on your statistics, what's the probability that you're actually going to score that? Okay, but that leaves us with some options. Okay, so let's just jump right into an example. Let's say, let's pretend that I play basketball. Miss Adams, Miss Adams is in a free throw contest. Not that I would ever do that. Okay, and I'm going to be the last person, and because I'm the last person, I know that I need to make at least 4 out of the 5 shots to win. Okay, so everybody else went, the best that they could do was 3 out of 5. So in order for me to win, I need to make at least 4 out of 5. And again, since this is completely hypothetical, let's just say that I'm actually not that bad at basketball. And let's just say that the probability of me making it let's say is 3/4. Okay, so I'm in this contest. I need to make 4 out of 5 shots to win, and the probability of me making a free throw is 3/4. So 75% of the time I make them. We need to find out the probability that I'm actually going to win this contest. Okay, so in order to win, I need to make at least 4 out of the 5. So if you think about it, there are 2 possibilities of me winning. I can either make 4 out of the 5, or I can make 5 out of the 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the probability of me making 4, and then I'm also going to find the probability of making 5. Okay, it's because I need to know both of those. There are only 2 ways that I can win this. All right, so let's write it down. So there are 2 ways to win. I can make 4, or I could be having a great day and I can make 5. If I make 4, that's the problems that we were doing last time. I need to make exactly 4 out of 5. So this is making exactly 4, or I need to make exactly 5. Okay, in order for me to win this game, I need to make exactly 4 out of 5 shots, or I need to make exactly 5 out of 5 shots. Doesn't matter which order I make them in, as long as I make exactly 4 or exactly 5. Well, let's do the probability for making exactly 4, because we know that out of the 5 shots, I need to somehow make 4 of them. I don't care in which order. The probability that I made it is 3/4. and that's going to happen those 4 times. The probability that I don't make it is going to be what's left over. That's 1/4. And that I only need to happen 1 time. And if I figure that out, punch that in your calculator, that's going to give me 405 over 1024. So that right there is the probability that I'm going to make 4 out of the 5 shots, which is one of the ways that I can win. The other way that I can win is that I need to make 5 out of the 5 shots. Well, making exactly 5 out of 5, we know how to do that too. That's going to be 5 choose 5. The probability of winning happening 5 times, and then the probability of making my shot is 5 times, and then the probability of missing my shot isn't going to happen at all. And if I put that in my calculator, I'm going to get 243 over 1024. Okay? So since I needed to make at least 4 of 5, I found all the possibilities. By making at least 4, I could either make 4 out of the 5, and that's the probability, or I can make 5 out of the 5, and this is the probability. And then to find the probability of me winning, so taking into consideration the first probability that I found and the second probability, I'm going to add these, okay? Because I only need one or the other to happen. So since this is an or, we're going to add these. So the probability of winning, I'll write that in purple since I wrote it in purple for my question. Probability of winning, okay, and that is either making 4 out of 5 shots or making 5 out of 5 shots, is going to be the 4/5 probability plus the 5 out of 5 probability, which you can add together. You get 648 over 1024, which will simplify to 81 over 128. Okay? So I needed to make at least 4, which gave me 2 possibilities. I could make 4, or I could go hard and make all 5. I found the probability of both of those ways of winning, and then we add them together. Okay? And let's do one more example, and then I'll be done. Okay? A family of 5, let's say I'm taking a survey, and a family of 5 has a family of 5 children is chosen at random. Okay? So I've got a family, and I know that there are 5 children in this family. What is the probability that there are at most 2 boys? Okay, so this family has 5 children. I want to find the probability that there are at most 2 boys. Well, if I can have at most 2 boys, that means that I could actually have 2 boys, or I could have 1 boy, or I could have none. Okay, so there are 3 different ways that this could happen. If I'm going to have at most 2 boys in this family, well then I can have 2, or I can only have 1, or I could just have all girls. I could have no boys. So let's do these 3 probabilities. The probability of having exactly 2 boys means that out of the 5 kids, I want all the different ways that I could have 2 boys. All right. Now, when it comes to the probability, you're either a boy or a girl. There's only 2 options. So the probability of boy is 1/2. You're either a boy or a girl. So there are 2 possibilities for what you are, and we want the boy. If we want that to happen twice, And then the other option is being a girl. And we want that to happen the other 3 times. And if we do that, punch that in your calculator, you're going to get 10 over 32. Okay? But since I can have at most 2 boys, it's also fair that I only have 1. So that means out of the 5 kids, I want to find out all the different ways that I could just have 1 boy in that group. The probability of being a boy is 1/2, and I want that to happen 1 time. The other option is that you're a girl. That probability is 1/2, and I want that to happen the other 4 times. Punch that in your calculator, you're going to get 5 over 32. Or you could have no boys. We could have all girls. So out of 5 kids, I want all the different ways that I could have 0 boys. I want the probability of being a boy to happen no, not at all, none, 0. And then I want the probability of being a girl to happen 5 times. Punch that in your calculator, you're going to get 1 over 32. So these are the probabilities of the 3 different scenarios of how I could have at most 2 boys in this family. And since this is an or, I can have 2 boys, or I can have 1 boy, or I can have no boys. We are going to add these together. So we are going to do 10 over 32 plus 5 over 32 plus 1 over 32, which gives us 16 over 32, which simplifies to 1/2. So the probability of having at most 2 boys is equal to 1/2. Okay, and I hope we're not bugging out that now I'm adding instead of multiplying, because remember before, anytime I was multiplying, things were happening together. So I'm trying to think. It was like I'm doing this and then I'm doing this. So all of these things were happening together, whereas now I'm looking at different scenarios, so it has to be one or the other. And when it's one or the other, we have to add. So maybe just make a note of that. And means they're happening at the same time. That's when we are multiplying. Okay, that's using the counting principle. Think of like all of those making a sundae things. You're getting ice cream, and you're getting toppings, and you're getting syrup, and you're getting a cone. Since all of those things are happening, we're multiplying all those different probabilities. For an or, we have options. We have to pick either or way that something could happen. Either or way something can happen. And that means we're going to add. Okay? And that's it. We have finished probability.